Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out and helping us check in and celebrate the investments that the state is continuing to make in Central New York and really all of upstate New York. I have the privilege of acknowledging some of our special guests that are here today. The Commissioner of the Office of General Services, Roanne DiStito, is with us. Commissioner Richard Ball from Ag and Markets and Commissioner Sam Roberts from the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. They're both with us. Thank you. We are joined by Ryan McMahon, my favorite chairman of the Onondaga County Legislature, and Van Robinson, the president of the Syracuse Common Council, is here. And we have our two local officials, the Town of Geddes Supervisor Manny Falcone and the Village of Salve Mayor Ron Benedetti. Thank you for welcoming us here today. Our Center State CEO and our co-chair of the Regional Economic Development Council, Rob Simpson, is here. Hi, Rob. The president of the Central New York Building Trades, Greg Lancette. Thank you, Greg. And the acting director of the Great New York State Fair, Troy Waffner, is here. And this is another piece in what is a giant puzzle now of investment that's been made in Central New York. The governor came and took a tour around the village of Salve, the town of Geddes, and really saw the potential that needed some state attention. As the governor has said many times when he's been here, we didn't always get the attention from our state government that we deserved. And Governor Cuomo has come here over and over and over, and when he comes and sees the opportunity, he puts a plan in place and it's executed. And it's all happened very quickly. And I hope you have the opportunity to see some of the great things that have happened in the village of Salve, the housing improvements, the business improvements. I know Ryan McMahon's been very involved. Bridge Street, the investment that's been made in the connection between the village of Salve and what's happening here at the fair with the wide new promenade for people to walk and a brand new pedestrian gate for the Great New York State Fair is being built on Bridge Street so people can walk easily from Salve down into the State Fair. And then the improvements that have been made here are absolutely beautiful. I hope that there's a picture around to show people what this front gate used to look like, but this is really spectacular and it's happening so quickly. The governor has a tremendous team in place, and when he says he's going to do something, we get to reap the benefits very quickly. And as one of the 3 communities that won the Upstate Revitalization Initiative, there's more and bigger and better on the horizon for us. Governor, I appreciate what you've done to bring us all together. We're all working together, taking advantage of the opportunity that you're presenting for us in Central New York. And it is my honor to introduce Central New York's friend, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, it is exciting to be here. It's exciting to be back. Look, it was just like yesterday that we were here to blow up the grandstand in a nice way. It wasn't a hostile act. And it's amazing to see how much work has been done in a relatively short period of time. I want to acknowledge the commissioners from the state who have really been working overtime. Commissioner Roanne DiStito, Commissioner Ball, and Commissioner Sam Roberts. Let's give them a round of applause. Your county executive is always on the ball and always getting things done and has been a tremendous vehicle for progress. Joni Mahoney, pleasure to be with you. My friends in local government, Ryan McMahon, Van Robinson, Manny Falcone, Ron Benedetti, pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much for being here. Rob Simpson, who's brought great economic vision to the effort. Greg Lancette, who's been a great partner in actually getting the work done because someone had to do the work. So let's thank Greg Lancette and the men and the women who do all the hard work and have done an extraordinary job. We thank you very much. You know, New York State Fair, I've been coming here for more years than I care to remember. I was brought here first as a young fella, and we went through the fair. And the story, when you would go through the fair, everything was about the history of the fair, the history, and the great buildings and the great architecture and how it started. First fair in the nation, first state fair in the nation, 1840. 116 years. And it was all about the history and what it was and when it started and the vision when it started. And it's amazing that the fair has done as well as it has for as long as it has, basically relying on its history, with very little renovation, very little investment. Older buildings, older facility, but still over 1 million visitors coming to the fair based on tradition, based on history. And I would always say to myself, especially since I was Attorney General and Governor, it's not enough to rely on history. That is a great tradition, but what are we doing about the future? And where's the improvement? And where's the investment? And what are we doing to keep up with the competition? Because the competition is creating and recreating. And what are we doing? And when was the last time we looked at the state fair and we said, you know what, this is a tremendous economic opportunity. And we've basically been relying on what was done 50 years, 60 years ago. Why don't we reinvest and actually make the fair an economic generator going forward even stronger than it is today? And the state stepped up and we said that we'll invest $50 million in the state fair, which had not had an investment for many, many years. And that's what we're seeing the results of today, as well as feeling a few raindrops, so I'm going to speak even faster. You now have a new midway that is going to be fantastic. You have an overall facelift that is being done, and it is envisioning a fair for the next 50 years. The work is going great. This is now a much more competitive vehicle. We're going to look for private sector partners and investors, because we now have an asset that I believe will attract private sector operators. Now that we invested that $50 million, we have a 300-unit RV park, and we're going to start now to take the next step. Let's bring in a private sector developer, private sector operator, say partner with us, and let's go forward together. This carriage gate respects the future. It is modeled on the original carriage gate that was first put up in 1840, and you see the tradition and the history. And this fair is in many ways a metaphor for all of upstate, and I believe that. Upstate New York has a great history and a proud history, going back to the Erie Canal and investment in the manufacturing era and what we did for this country. There hasn't been enough concentration and focus on what we're going to do going forward. It can't just be about what we did yesterday. It has to be about what we're doing tomorrow. And upstate New York did lag behind economically. That's the truth, for two reasons. Taxes were out of control in the state, and high taxes were driving people out of upstate New York especially, young people especially. We've gotten taxes under control. Taxes have gone down in the state of New York. And we're controlling property taxes for the first time ever. And as the county executive said, upstate was overlooked by the state government in Albany. That is the truth. And it had very little investment. And if you care about upstate New York, like everyone professes to care about upstate New York, then let's put our money where our mouth is. We have in this administration. We're investing in upstate New York. Central New York last year was awarded $500 million in the Central New York Rising competition. So that is a significant infusion of money to really jumpstart the economy. You see it everywhere you look. You see signs of birth. What the county has done, changing the access roads into this facility. What the county has done, building a new amphitheater. What we're doing with Bridge Street and Solvay, you feel the pieces coming together. And those individual pieces of redevelopment then are synergistic and build one on the other. And I believe this fair is at the center of it all. You're bringing 1 million people here. Just think of all the potential when you have 1 million people coming from across the state and across the country, what you can do. And with this investment, we really are going to take the next step. It's not a leap of faith because you look at the facts, we know that it is working. Unemployment is down in upstate New York. It's down below where it was before the Great Recession. Past 5 years, we created 150,000 new jobs in upstate New York. We have more private sector jobs in upstate New York than ever before in the history of upstate New York. Just think about that. We are on the right track. Keep taxes down, control property taxes, invest in economic opportunity, create jobs, focus on upstate New York. That's the future for this state. That's exactly what we're doing. The fair is a symbol of that strategy and that progress. A lot of progress since January. Now they have promised me. Ryan McMahon gave me his word. Van gave me his word. Joni gave me his word. Greg gave me his word. And I know where you live, Greg. Billy Gilbane gave me their word. It is going to be, the Midway will be finished for the Syracuse Nationals. And I'm going to be back for the Syracuse Nationals and enjoy seeing the new Midway. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you and God bless. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you all for coming. We'll see you back here for the Nationals and then the Great New York State Fair.